getting set up here. All right. So I don't know if you guys will be able to hear me all right. I gotta see if I can work this out. Let's see. All right. So I'm setting up right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the MOK WaveRazor. Not even really going to go through it. I'm going to just kind of mess around with it a bit. I'm just trying out a new streaming platform, and I figured I'd give this thing a go. Let's get in a little bit tighter there. See if I can't check this out just a bit. All right. All right, yeah, so MOK WaveRazor. Yeah, man, this thing is crazy. So this is a it's basically done in combination with 1010 Music and MOK, which is Media Overkill. They're the same guys who made the WaveRazor VST plugin, and they work with like Traction, and they make some really great software. And this module is a dual oscillator of the WaveRazor plugin. So the main real thing about WaveRazor that's different from most other VSTs and oscillators as well, now that it's in Eurorack, is that essentially the waveform can get sliced up at different points in the waveform, and then what you can do is with those slice points, you can actually warp those individual slice points separately. So it's kind of a new type of synthesis that allows you to get some really interesting sounds out of waveforms that previously were fairly traditional. So let's take a listen to what I got going on right now. Off screen right now, I have a drum Eurorack powered by a Arturia BeatStep Pro, and my drum rack is primarily Mutant drums from Hex Inverter. I got the Boom Shack from Audio Damage, and the Delptronics Little Drummer Boy 2, which is also running through a Reverb and Shapes by Audio Damage, so it kind of makes the drums even more dirty. That's the Little Drummer Boy 2 right there. And then the Hex Inverter drums down here. Oh, and I had the kick running through the Black Hole DSP version 1 from Erica Synths, so that's what that delay is. All right, so let's take a listen to what we got here. All right, so hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, leave a comment so that I know that you can hear me. And you can let me know how far away I sound from the mic because I am a little far from it. It's a dynamic. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what you're hearing there is I have two separate synth lines going. And again, the first synth line. Okay, so what that is, so what that is this first oscillator up here is running, and I have that going out to a WaveRazor evolution filter, and it's getting just a little bit of delay and reverb from the ER301 here. And the bass line is the second oscillator, which if I press that, here's the bass oscillator, and you can see it's kind of funky looking there, and that's because if you go into this section, when you're on the secondary page of each oscillator, you have a touch screen, and you can map your controls to the touch screen so you can affect the parameters. And as I'm doing that, let's go in here, we hit the info button, and we'll go to controls, and you can see your XY controls are here. So if I press XY1, you'll see what it's going to, and you can set up exactly what it's doing. And it's actually changing wave 1 wave shape and wave 3 wave shape. And let's go ahead and get back. So we'll go back to controls. So that's XY1, XY, and actually, hold on. Let's go to X2. So yeah, again, wave shape 1, wave shape 3. And then if we go to Y2, that's going to be wave shape 2 and wave shape 4. So that's allowing me in real time to change the wave shapes of two different sections, two different waveforms at the same time via the XY strip. And then I have two XY strips because I have one for each oscillator. You'll notice that I have two different outputs going here. That's because I'm sending each oscillator separately. But you can also you can send those oscillators out together on a mix if you choose. But like I said, I'm sending one. I'm sending the lead line is going through the Rossum Evolution, and then the bass line is going through an IntelliGel Polaris. So if we want to hear the bass line right quick, I'll hit play on this. the ability to mix. So I'll show you something else interesting here. So this is just one of the algorithms in here. This is just one of the configurations. So this module can actually be configured in a whole bunch of different ways. So if you touch the center, that center bar right there, we go into our configurations. Now, when it ships, you have the internal configurations here, which is the multi-sync cycles. And then you've got, AM. You can even use this thing as a standalone oscilloscope as well. So when you do that, you'll notice that if I go here, it's blank. If I was to send an audio input into there, you would see that. Right now you're just seeing my pitch CV. So you can see the pitch CV and you can hear my VCAs clicking. And then if I go here, there's the other pitch. Okay, so going back here, we've got phases, we've got swarms, we've got wave sequences, and then you can get into different configurations in here. There's a ton of different wave combinations, and you can really get into just a lot of different stuff here. I mean, you can scroll right through and you'll see that there's a ton of different wave algorithms. Let's go to the FM. Yeah, let's do that. So now I have that loaded. And let's see what this is. Who knows? I really don't know what this is going to sound like, so we'll find out. So this is just a different type of FM exponential on here. And you'll notice that on the side, we have different controls. So you have your razor size and razor duty. The razor is that slicing of the waveform that I was talking about earlier. And then you have the duty, which is the size of that slice. And then you've got syncing. You've got cross tune, which is like a cross modulation. You can on this one, the second oscillator, it's allowing me to change the octave and the shape here, and then coarse and fine. You can go in and define all these controls as you like. On top of that, you'll notice that you have boxes by these controls, and these boxes tell you what each of your assignments are for modulation down here. That grid is this grid right here for inputs. So you can modulate anything. There's like, I think 42 different simultaneous modulation points. For an oscillator, that's just crazy. But for this one, it actually makes sense because you have so many points that you can modulate and just do so much crazy stuff. Let's see what else we have here. So let's go to a swarm. So we have that loaded now. Let's listen to that. That's crazy. Like, and again, I'll be honest with you, like that I haven't ever used the Swarm Log 5 algorithm on here before. You can just sit in here and mess with it and discover all sorts of different things. And I'll tell you right now, you're probably hearing a lot of hiss and whatnot. Again, I'm using multiple types of distortion inside the drum rack, so you're gonna hear like noise and all kinds of nastiness from my system brought up really loud because I'm crushing the hell out of them drums. I've got like 3 different distortions going. So, but yeah, man, like this thing is just this oscillator is insane. And the thing is you can see what you're mapping to really quickly. So you can actually take things and just, if I jack in right here, I know from this grid, I know that this is going to affect my my XY. So let's go into the sum here of my maths. All right. And what you're going to see is you're going to see a blue dot start moving, or excuse me, the green dot. So now I'm modulating that. And we'll do one output. Let's say I want to modulate the second oscillator here. Here's that second oscillator. Again, that's being modulated by math. so I'm going to modulate a few other things. Let's modulate that razor size. All right, so I'm going to go into this jack right here because you can see right next to the razor size, you see the two lit up LEDs right there. So we know that that's going to be that. And I can just go straight over to, I'm going to use a sine wave output. And you'll see the modulation right there on the module. So you don't have to guess as to what's doing what. And I know what you're thinking. He just said duty. Yup. So, yeah, I mean, this thing is just, it's just crazy. It's endless entertainment when you scroll through here and you're discovering things. What's really going to be interesting is I was reading on the forum today, on the MOK forum. So when you get this thing, register and then go to their forum. And Taiho Yamada is very responsive and guy is very passionate. So I saw a question in there about loading in different algorithms and whatnot. And he says that they are working on an editor right now so that you'll be able to use a software editor to come up with your own algorithms on here and then import them that way, which is pretty damn cool. Swarm Ripsaw Up. Let's check that one out. Hear that other oscillator? Change up the algorithm. Change it up again. Configuration. And on this one, you can change the odd and even waves. It's pretty dope because you can actually see where the razor is slicing the wave and then folding it up and mutating it. If I can zoom in on that too. There I'm modulating the octave of that second oscillator. Back up to that first oscillator. Take the modulations out. Change the wave shape. It's a nice smooth morphing between wave shapes in this. Just drop the octave. And I'll go ahead and I'll bypass the delay here. I'll bypass the reverb. This is the raw oscillator here. Okay, let's see what else this one does. So here's that M sync. Take all these out. you can hear my voice okay. He says, "Sound like Missy Elliott." Yeah, I hear that. That's crazy. I really like that X tune on it. So it's like a soft sync. That sounds dope. And then we got that Razor size. What up, Benji? I like to just call him Israel. That's a cooler name. So yeah, man, that again, for those that are just coming in, what I'm doing is I'm going through the WaveRazor and I'm just stepping through and changing up the different algorithms that are in here. There's all these different oscillator configurations, and they all do different stuff, and you can map anything to anything and just kind of go nuts with this thing. And it just released, so it's on 1.04, but it seems like Taiho and MOK have kind of dedicated to continually updating this thing and providing more and more for this thing to be able to do. So I just wanted to show just a bit of what this thing is about because it seems really wild. Let's go to cycle fifth, 4/5, and we'll check this out. And again, this the grid that you're seeing there is telling us what the modulation points are for each for each input. And you've got a grid here, a grid here, a grid here, but you have two oscillators, so you can go here now, and then you see the other oscillators sections. These lights up here show you which oscillator version you're in. You're asking if it's polyphonic. I mean, technically yes, but it's a dual oscillator, right? So it's not the full VST. It's not envelopes. It's not filters. It's not all that. It's two oscillators. Okay. So right now, the way that I'm running this is I have oscillator one is going out to the Rossum Evolution filter, and I also have it running through a VCA. The VCA is a dual VCA from Animodule, and it's being controlled by Maths. Then the second oscillator from it is going through the IntelliGel Polaris. Right now, I have both filters all the way open, so they're not affecting anything. And what does it say? Yeah. So as far as how they're gonna update this thing, it looks like they are working on an editor right now, like a VST editor. I don't know if it's gonna be standalone or VST, but it will let you customize all the algorithms yourself and load in your own custom algorithms. So that's going to be really exciting. So again, let's take a listen to what we got here. Let's start with the oscillator one, and when you want to change an algorithm, just touch it. And here we can change the wave shape. Let's hear how that sounds when you start messing with it. up again. And I'm going to bring back the delay reverb, because that's how you would really use an oscillator anyway, right? Let's bring in the second oscillator. Play with that a little bit. So see, this algorithm that I just switched to is extremely different from the last. So you'll notice it's a completely different sound now. So with this one, let's go back to oscillator 1. Oscillator 1, we're going to go ahead and hit play on this. And this one I have totally different controls as well. So I've got octave and semitone. And over here we've got a razor size, razor duty, razor fraction, and razor fine. Let's go back to that second oscillator. Now this one, another completely different set of controls. 1 volume, 2 volume, 1 shape, 2 shapes. So this is giving us totally different controls over this. So let's turn these both up for a second. So actually, yeah, just out of the second, that's the other thing is that you can have multiple waves inside of each oscillator, right? So in this one, we've got, oh, should probably turn it up, right? Now if I turn this one down, now we're getting this one. Change the shapes. Go to the second screen. Just completely changing the oscillator sound. And then if you go to another algorithm, it's going to sound totally different. That's Benjamin. What up, Izzo? All right, man. I think I think that's enough. That's the WaveRazor. This thing is ridiculous, and you get a crazy amount of tones out of it. So I'm just like, I've been working hard on some other projects lately, and I haven't had much time with the modular, and I've been really wanting to show this thing off for a while now. So it's been fodder for inspiration today, and it's a blast. So go check it out if you get a chance. I know Perfect Circuit has them. Um, I think I think what is it? Chuck Levins may be getting some. So if you're on the East Coast, you can check out Chuck Levins. If you're on the West Coast, check out Perfect Circuit. But I'm having a blast messing with it. So anyway, thanks for checking it out. And this is Flux, fluxwithit.com, all that good stuff. And yeah, peace.